I'd like to talk about string bending and vibrato. String bending is something that has been quite well documented, but I'd like to go over it one more time. Basically, one of the most common bends that I use, and I think a lot of people use, is a tone bend. Bending from one note up two semitones. The technique that I use for this is thumb round the neck, third finger on the string, using these two fingers to support the bend, and then push the note up to the note desired. In this case it's an A, so we play the A and then push this G note on the 8th fret B string up to it. Now I recommend when you're practicing this to actually push the note quite slowly and then stop when you think you've reached the right pitch. So play the note, push up slowly, and when you think you've hit the right pitch, hopefully that was it, then you stop. And as you get better at bending, you can go faster. One thing I like to do when I'm bending is add a little bit of vibrato to the note once it's bent. And I basically use the same technique for the vibrato as I do for the bending. In other words, what I do is I play the note and then use like a series of mini bends, still using these two fingers to support, then moving my hand, my whole hand up and down, thumb still around the neck. So it's like a series of mini bends. You bend it slightly, let it down. Now I like to bend the note, and then once the note is bent, don't add vibrato, re-pick it and then add the vibrato. Now there's four types of bends that I normally use, which is the whole tone bend that we just discussed, the semitone bend, where we bend half the distance, so in this case we'll bend from F sharp to G, the minor third bend, where we bend from say an A to a C, and the slight bend, or some people call this a blues bend, normally played off the minor third of the scale that you're using. In this case it will be a C. Now what I like to do is just bend this note slightly. It's just short of a semitone. It's more of a feel thing really. And what I normally do is I play the note and then I cut it off with the palm of my right hand. Just put the palm on there and it just cuts the note off. And then usually I'll play an A or whatever the root of the key is after it. Obviously you don't have to do that, but that's just one of the things I do. Okay, so the four bends I normally use are the tone bend. Probably next most common for me after that is the semitone bend. Then I sometimes use the minor third bend, and then the slight bend. One other bend that you can use is two whole tones. Some people will bend from an A right up to a C sharp. Now I think it's a good idea to use all the fingers to bend, because you never know on the guitar what position you're going to be in. It might not always necessarily be convenient to bend with your third finger, especially if you're going like there, you know, for me to sort of have to go down like that quickly and do it, it's not really convenient, so it's better. And of course I can't use any fingers to support this particular first finger there, but you just keep practicing. You know, and I don't use my little finger to bend much, but it is a good idea to be able to do it if you have to. It just broadens your spectrum of licks there. Now, the thing that I recommend with string bending is that you discover the best bends for the position that you're in. For example, in the first position, we've got a nice tone bend there on the 8th fret high E string, followed by a slight bend, and you've got a tone bend on the G string, tone bend on the G string there, and then a semitone bend for the blue note, slight bend on the C. Some people will bend this A, as we did there, up a minor third. Same on the A string. So if you experiment there, second position, you have the tone and semitone again. Slight bend, minor third bend. Then you have a tone bend, bending the G to the A with the first finger. Then we also have a nice minor third bend from E to G. Good example of using the little finger there to bend from the G to the A. So we've got slight bend on the C. Moving up to the third position, the E again, minor third bend, slight bend there on the C. I mean, someone like Eric Clapton, I mean, he would even bend a minor third with his first finger from A to C. So there we go, minor third bend, slight bend, tone bend on G. You can even have a go at the tone bend on the D, minor third bend. Moving on to the fourth position, tone bend on the high E string, 15th fret, G to an A note. Tone and semitone again from the D. Slight bend on C. Minor third bend on the 14th fret G string. And also play a minor third bend there. So you can see, I'm just going to add a little bit of distortion to give you an idea. So. Okay, moving up to the fifth and final position, we have a minor third bend from the 17th fret high E string there, same on the B string, then a tone bend from the 17th fret G string, tone bend again, tone bend and semitone bend, slight bend on the C, finish on A. So I love the fifth position for bending. It doesn't seem to be a very popular one to use, but I like it because you can get that real kind of... And then finally, back to the first position.